And it's all about minimizing our risk to injury. Okay, so Anthony, we were sort of doing a little bit of an exercise before, or a test, I should say. Typically in your functional testing, how many tests will people be doing?
There's 7 movement patterns that we put you through.
And this is to make sure that you're fit enough to do something like CrossFit, for instance, right?
Essentially, yeah. It's to basically assess your risk of injury.
Okay, so let's go through another exercise, and these are exercises people can do at home.
Right. Okay, so the first thing, you're going to put the dowel on top of your head. It's about 90 degrees for your hands, like so.
Okay. Could be a broomstick for someone at home.
Exactly,
okay.
right? So put the arms up, straight up.
Yep.
Look forward, please.
Look forward.
And the feet a little bit wider. And then we'll
Okay.
just go feet square. Arms up over your head. Keeping it straight, go down deep into a squat, as low as you can go.
All right, that's about as low as I can go. So how does that rate?
Not so good.
Not so
Yeah.
good. But it doesn't mean I can't work out. It just means that there's more of a chance that I could actually get hurt,
That's right.
correct?
There's a lot of stuff going on in here,
Okay.
right? Okay.
Let's go on to a next one. I know that there's an option to actually do an elevated squat as well, but just for the purposes of people at home, what's another exercise that we can do, or a test?
Okay, for this one, I'm going to get you to face this wall over here.
Okay.
You can put your arms out like so.
All right.
Right, and then you're going to put your thumbs inside. And then you're going to go right hand over left hand. You're going to check your shoulder mobility in this case. So
Okay.
going behind.
And so if I could touch my hands, would that mean I'm more mobile?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So what you want to do if you're at home, you want to measure your own hand, like say your right hand.
Right.
And if you're within your own right hand, then you're good.
Okay.
That sort of stuff. Or 1.5 times your right hand.
One more test right here.
All right, so you're on your back, head over here.
Okay.
The back of your knees are on this board. Okay. So you're going to stay as straight as you can. Your legs are going to be like this. Palms are going to be up.
Okay.
You're going to lift up this leg as high as you can go.
That's as high as I can go.
All right, by trying to keep it straight?
Yep.
Okay, so come back down.
So does this indicate that I'm no good to work out, or?
No, it doesn't indicate that you're no good to work out, but you have something going on in the hips. It doesn't say what exactly is the problem. It just says that there's something for me to look at.
Which means I could be more prone to injury. Again, for more details on engineered bodies, you can go to their website. Again, these are just a few of about 7 tests. Jody and Riaz, we're here all morning long, just trying to make sure we don't get hurt. I want to ask you, Russ, can you touch your toes?
Only if I bend both knees.
If you bend both knees, I'm kind of the same way. In fact, this is about as low as I can go. And oh, he's trying right now. Anthony, this is as low as I can go. You're saying in my Live Ice segment, which is a minute 45, I'm going to be able to touch my toes or get really, really close.
Yes.
For sure.
Let's do it.
We're going to do it. That's going to be the gauntlet has been thrown, Jody and Riaz. I'll be touching my toes. That's the goal. Again, we're working out injury-free and finding out what kind of movement is best for our particular bodies. Because I'm going to be touching my toes. That's the goal here. Okay, Anthony, as part of our functional testing, we noticed that I have a bit of tightness, or I believe to be tightness, right?
Yeah, so your hips are pretty much tight here.
Right, because
so
that's as high as I can go.
Exactly,
on
right.
my own.
So the next thing I would do is I'm going to check whether or not it's a mobility problem or a stability problem.
All right, so how do we do that?
So I'm going to check, so get your head back.
Okay.
So I'm just going to check and see like where you're at. So how does that feel for you?
It feels tight.
Does it feel a little bit tight?
And of course, we're doing functional testing right now as well. This is kind of helping people not only be able to work out, but just live everyday life without injury, hopefully.
Right, right. So there's a little bit of tone here in your hamstrings, which means that it's kind of on.
Okay.
But as you notice,
on
like
meaning tense?
It's contracted, right?
All right.
It's trying to protect something. That's a compensation of some sort.
Okay.
Right. So, but right here, I can actually take your leg up to here, but you can only bring it up to here.
So how can we correct this?
Right. So what you're going to do is just keep your leg straight, and you're going to push into my leg.
Okay.
Right. 3, 2, 1. And you're going to turn it off.
Okay.
So
there's already more movement there.
Big improvement already, right?
Okay, so now if people want to be able to do this at home without someone like you helping, how can they do that?
Yeah, you can take this band.
All right.
Or some sort of a towel or something like this. You're going to just put this around your foot, and you're going to hold it. You're going to essentially mimic the same thing, right? So you're going to push into the band.
Yep.
You're going to hold it.
2, 3,
4, and then you're going to pull as you do it. There you go. You see how it just kind of flows up?
Now, of course, we did a few of these just a couple of minutes before we came on air. We've got lots of people, Jody and Riaz, that are doing their own functional and corrective warm-ups as well. The goal here, though, was to touch my toes, Riaz, so let's see if we can.
So feet together.
Feet together.
Get all the way down.
Look at that, guys.
Nice.
Look at that, Riaz.
Impressive.
Just like that. That's amazing. It's been years since I touched my toes. We're actually going to get into some CrossFit workouts coming up next, and also maybe alter the kind of ways I have to work out given some of the limitations that I have, because it's all about reducing your injury this morning. And you know, this is something I've always had a challenge doing, a squat. And Anthony, there actually might be a legitimate reason why. We just did some functional testing, as everyone here has been as they've been getting ready for their CrossFit workouts. Right. It's a dorsiflex limitation. dorsiflexion.
Right, dorsiflexion in your ankles.
So that means that, like, for instance, when I do a squat, I have a real difficult time keeping my feet on the ground.
That's
with
right.
big mobility, right?
Right.
So you're saying I got my excuse not to do a squat.
Yeah, exactly. That's not to say that you're never going to do squats again. It's just a progression, right? So what we got to first do is get you dorsiflexion, because if you don't have dorsiflexion in your ankle, it's going to try to get mobility in your knee, right? Which could then potentially cause pain in your knee over time if you were to do squats.
And we don't want to do that. This is all about progression. Okay, so before I'm able to get to doing a squat, what could I do instead?
So you can do things like deadlifts here, like Matt's demonstrating right here. But again, we're talking about progression. So right now, for you, now we got your toe touch. Right. You can see how this looks kind of like a toe touch. So what we would do for that is then I'd start to pattern it with a stick and actually pattern the deadlift in that sort of fashion to get you getting that movement properly, right? And then after that, then we start progressively, slowly adding weight to it, right? And you see how these guys are pulling off of the, not even off of the floor, they're pulling off of blocks. So you might even start up quite high. You might start up even here, pulling up just to here. And then later you'd start to go down, 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 and then that would also develop hip strength.
I actually like the idea of progression and modification, because actually I do yoga, and it does sort of make me think of that. You're sort of doing what your ability is for that moment, but the idea is that you're eventually going to get to the point where I can safely do a squat, because it's all about safety.
Of course.
That's really the goal here. Again, at Engineered Bodies, again, this is all just part of functional training is what we're doing here. A lot of this is corrective as well. And so for more details on what they do here and the testing itself, you can go to their website. Riaz, coming up next, we're going to continue to do some workouts that tie into what we need to do to just live everyday life to its fullest. Oh, we sure are. And this isn't just about bodybuilding, Anthony. This is about functional training, and specifically, in this case, we're dealing with golf as a sport, right? What are the guys doing right now?
So they're demonstrating right here is a Turkish get-up. And there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here, obviously, right? We've got hip stability, shoulder stability, a lot of motor control stuff happening here, right? And this is a progression to what we were doing in the beginning.
Because we started off our day with a bit of a functional test, right? And so not everybody necessarily can do all this or will be doing every exercise in a CrossFit situation, but it's all about building to something like this.
That's right. You need the foundation first with the fundamentals. Once you get there, we progress you slowly until we get into things like this.
And Fraser, of course, we're talking about golf specific. All I got to say is Tiger Woods, he definitely elevated the game with his fitness.
Yeah, he definitely set the trend, and now you see, 90% of all professionals that are trying to get in the game and the PGA Tour are stepping up their physical part of the game so that they can hit the ball 300 plus yards and meet the challenge of the golf course they're playing.
And so these are a couple of pros here. Who are we looking at here?
Yeah, Matt Don Carolis and Andrew Rasmussen, two of our young pros on the Vancouver Golf Tour.
And so will the functional training like we're seeing right now, will that improve their game? Or in your experience, have you seen that?
Oh, definitely. If they're not doing it, then they're going to be falling behind for sure.
And Anthony, just to confirm too, this isn't just about sports or just about being able to lift heavy weight. You're talking about the grandma that wants to lift her grandkids.
That's right. So that whole fundamental movement patterns at the very, very beginning, it's essential to have that, right? Because like not everybody wants to hit the ball 300 yards or like do a whole bunch of CrossFit, but they want to pick up their kids.
But they want to be able to do basic things. For more details, by the way, on Engineered Bodies and the courses and classes that they offer, including the functional testing, you can go to their website, Riaz and Jody.